I used to get high before every
No,
rolling
I don't know
session.
how the fuck you guys do that. I can't.
Eddie and I used to take giant bong hits, and then we would roll.
No.
Yeah.
I'd have a panic attack.
Yeah, we would go into class. And
as soon as somebody gets on top of you fast.
He would teach like that. Eddie would teach like that.
No.
He would teach like that, blitzkrieg. Teach like a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, he'd teach tremendously.
Like a master. Like
that's how you want your fucking dude, unconscious.
Well, for him, for his style of he's like, Eddie. He's got a very interesting style, not just of jiu-jitsu, but of explaining his jiu-jitsu. Explaining all the moves and all the different positions, and there's like a presentation that he's doing. It's like an art form.
Let me tell you something, Eddie Bravo. You're talking about all our comedian friends. He's doing something completely fucking different on the other side. Oh yeah. Because every place you show up to do comedy, there's one fucking dude with a 10th planet shirt.
Oh, at least.
They're like ISIS.
At least.
Yeah, he's got little cells everywhere, Eddie, of these 3-4 people. Because even the little towns, they get the videos and get a mat, and they do all that shit by themselves, watching the fucking videos. They've told me when I went to Omaha, people came in like from out of Omaha. There's a 10th planet in Omaha. That's great. But people who don't want to make their... People were telling me they get like couches and jiu-jitsu. No, not couches, mattresses.
Mats.
Like they're fucking crazy. Yeah. So if your little town doesn't have it, Eddie's spreading. And now, like, his students are winning fucking tournaments. And now EBI is on top of the fucking game.
The best thing to ever happen to submission grappling because it made it exciting. They figured
I don't
out a
know
way
nothing about rules and you know that, right? But when I'm reading Jiu-Jitsu magazine and they're saying that fucking they're gonna start using EBI rules and shit. EBI is Eddie Bravo Inc., bitch.
Yeah.
That's
Chael Sonnen did it. And here's how beautiful Eddie is. Eddie doesn't even want money for them using it. I'm pretty sure he's like, yeah, I just want those rules to be established as the best rules. Just give me credit. Call it the EBI rules, and you can use them. Smart way to do it. He just wants to spread jiu-jitsu in the right way. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a non-EBI rules event either. Like if somebody wants to do like what Metamoris is doing and have these long bouts, and if they go to draw at the end, they go to draw at the end,
Not on the podcast. Some other time you got to break everything down. I mean, like there's IBBF and this. There's
anybody could essentially start their own rules, like Abu Dhabi, where Eddie choked out Hoyler. They had very interesting rules where the first period of the fight there was no points, and it encouraged you to go for it, right? So you try to submit someone within the first half of the fight, or take it real conservative, which was another approach. And you play super defense for the first half of the fight. Then, at the second half of the fight, you can score points. So you score points for takedowns, you score points for guard passes, near submissions, things like that. So I think their logic was that if they just have no points in the beginning, it doesn't matter if a dude mounts you, doesn't matter if a guy takes your back, if you defend, if you're trying to attack him and go after him, sometimes you'd worried, if I don't get this guy, I might be so far behind in points, I'll never catch up. Like if you just go for it and you fuck up and you wind up in a bad position, then you defend that position, and then you get back to your feet, and then maybe the guy takes you down. That's a sequence of events that if you're counting takedowns and near submissions and things like that can put you in his giant deficit. And if the guy's that good that he could do that to you, maybe you underestimated him and you'll never catch up to him. But you could find out if you just go for it, if you both go for it and you don't worry about points. So that was their idea, I think, to promote more excitement. So people just go for it in the beginning, and then the idea about the second half is that once you're establishing who's the better grappler, when two guys roll and they're trying to kill each other, you learn pretty quick who's better. And so then if no one's better, if it's just by a very, very, very slight edge, so if you've gotten to the second half of the fight and you're both in a neutral position, but you both attacked, you both defended, and no one's had any sort of an upper hand, those last few minutes is what's really going to count, because that's the few minutes where your determination in training camp showed up, your ability to adjust, your ability to overcome, like all those things really do determine who's best. So having that towards the end of the fight, that makes sense as well.
How long is Abu Dhabi if I go the whole match?
That's a good question.
Is it 2:15s? Is it 2:10s?
I don't remember. I'm thinking it's 2:10s, but that seems like a long time. Maybe it was less than that. Abu Dhabi submission grappling time limits. Because what is Eddie doing with EBI? He does the first, how many minutes?
I'm not sure.
I think it's like the first 9 minutes or something like that. They just go at it, and there's no points. And if they make it into the final, or they make it past the time limit, then they go through these series of bad positions. Like one guy starts on the other guy's back, and he has over-under, and they go ready, go, and you start from there. So one guy's got your back, and you have to defend it. And if you can tap him, then he has an opportunity to try the same position. And if he can tap you, I think it goes to who got who first. I think it's in the amount of time it took to tap them. So if that's where the competition would be.
10 minutes, 5 minutes overtime. Okay.
So qualifying rounds, 6 minutes, 3 minutes overtime if there's a draw. Finals, 8 minutes, 4 minutes overtime if there's a draw with no advantage. So what it probably is like 4 minutes in, they start scoring the point. Yeah, there it is right there. The first 4 minutes are without positive points, but negative points start from the beginning of the fight until the end. And I think negative points are like when you draw guard, when you pull guard. I think that was a negative point. I don't know if it still is, but I think that's silly. Because some guys, if they pull you into their guard, you're fucked. Like, there's guys like Vinny Magalhaes or like Shinya Aoki. That guy is this nasty fucking guard. If you're in his guard, you're in a terrible place.
The church is sponsoring Vinny Magalhaes.
Vinny Magalhaes is a bad motherfucker.
I love Vinny Magalhaes.
His jiu-jitsu is so fucking high level, man. You know, he spent a lot of time fighting in MMA, and because of the fighting in the MMA, I think a lot of people slept on his jiu-jitsu. They forget what a phenom he is. He flying armbarred Pé de Pano, who's like this multiple-time Brazilian jiu-jitsu world champion, and Vinny Magalhaes hit him with a flying armbar. Do you know, that is like pulling your dick out and slapping it across a world champion's face. I mean, that literally how powerful that move is.
When you say flying, that's where it ends in my fucking
Check this
world.
out. See if you can find it.
Flying
Vinny
fucking
Magalhaes,
armbar.
He's huge, too. He's
huge.
like 230
big.
pounds, and he hits him with a flying armbar. And it's perfect. It's just perfect. Like, there's no defending. Now, this guy that this is Chris Weidman. He got Chris Weidman with it, too. Yeah, well, you can watch this, too. I mean, Vinny did hit Chris Weidman with the same shit. Dude, Vinny's super world-class. Now, you got to remember, Chris Weidman, two-time NCAA All-American wrestler, like super fucking grappler. And that's how good Vinny Magalhaes is. I mean, Weidman, when he won the UFC, let's see if you could find it in here because this is a long match. Weidman, when he won the UFC middleweight title from Anderson Silva, was widely thought to be like one of the toughest, best wrestlers, best grapplers that's ever fought in the middleweight division. It was a big strength of his, is that he was just so nasty on the ground and so fucking strong.
Oh, my God.
Exactly. You see, when a dude can do that to a Chris Weidman, that's what a bad motherfucker Vinny Magalhaes is. You just don't, that doesn't happen. Watch this again. Come on, son. I mean, he just took that with just spectacular technique. And he's a huge guy. I mean, he looks like he's at least, 210 or something like that, 215. I don't know, in the UFC, he fought light heavyweight, right?
205?
Yeah, because he lost to Ryan Bader in the finals, remember?
Yes.
Of The Ultimate Fighter. See, striking, he got better at striking, but that was what had held him back. His jiu-jitsu is off the fucking chain.
He did another stint in the UFC, right?
Yes, he did a couple stints, yeah.
Okay.
But like that guy, you get caught in that guy's guard, you're fucked. Like, that's a bad position. So I disagree with them, like, saying that pulling guard is a 1-point disadvantage.
So if he pulls guard on you, Vinny Magalhaes, you're in hell?
You're in hell.
Well,
you're in a terrible place.
Nothing,
well, you might get out of it, but you're in danger. You're in severe danger. There's people where their guard is more of a defensive position. There's people who they'll wrap their legs around you, and what they're trying to do is just kind of hold on.
Me too. I just breathe.
Or, yeah, maybe they're taking their sweet time. They're going to breathe. They're going to relax. And then they're going to maybe try to explode back up to their feet. Or try to reverse you or try to stand up or something like that. But then there's guys like Vinny that are trying to break your arm. And that's immediately what he's going to go to. He's going to go to rubber guard. I mean, Vinny has like really fucking ridiculous experience when it comes to submissions. I mean, he's just super technical and a big guy. Like, that's a rare combination. Like, if you get caught in that guy's guard, you're not favored to get out of it, especially if you underestimated it. Like, that's another thing about guards. If you train with a guy who's like an Eddie Bravo, where his guard is just ultra dangerous, if you don't train with a guy like that, maybe the guys in your gym, they're not scary from their back. So you don't worry about it. Maybe you're a wrestler. Maybe you got good defense. You feel like, you know what? I see that shit coming. Nobody gets me in my gym. Well, they probably don't have the same level of guard. There's some guys out there that have this ridiculously refined level of guard. You remember Paul Sass?
No.
He's a guy who fought in the UFC. He won almost every fight. I think he won one by heel hook. He heel hooked Michael Johnson, who is going to be fighting Habib Nurmagomedov. But Paul Sass triangled the fuck out of everybody. I mean, he triangled the fuck out of everybody. Nobody could get away from his triangle. It was just this crazy thing. If this kid would grab a hold of you, he'd pull guard, he would creep his legs up over your shoulder, and before you know it, you were choking yourself to sleep. It was incredible. I don't remember how many fights he won by triangle, but it was so ridiculous because everybody knew it, and he would go out there and he would do it. And everybody's like, just stay the fuck away from his triangle. Just stay the fuck away from his triangle. Next thing you know, he's on his back, and you're like, ah! It's a terrible position to be in. And if a guy's legs are like really good at doing those movements, your legs are so strong. They're so much stronger than your arms. The thing that we lack is not strength, it's dexterity. Well, some guys figure that dexterity thing out. And when you have these high-level guys, you see if you, that was one where he won by leg lock here. But look how good he is, dude. Like when he gets guys into a position where they think that they're safe, this is another leg lock too. Look at that. Oh, this is nasty shit, man. But see, this is my point is that, like, there are guys that are super, super dangerous off their back. It shouldn't be a negative point.
And Michael Johnson has not thrown a punch. Has not thrown a punch. So even if you just mess with him.
Yeah. He got tore up here. I mean, this is a bad position.
Did they get rid of Paul Sass? Did they get the UFC cut him?
I think so. I don't remember. I mean, he didn't win all of his fights. He was a tough, tough guy. But, man, his submissions were awesome to watch, and he fucked a lot of guys up off his back. And this is an MMA, whereas actually, oh damn, that's nasty. And then he tapped right there. And this is an MMA where you can get punched. In Abu Dhabi, you can't even get punched, so you can get much deeper into positions and not worry about being vulnerable to strikes. So guys like Gary Tonin, who's like one of the best in the world right now, he's known for his leg locks, and he tacks off his back all the time. So to think that guy gets a negative point because he's attacking off of his back, to me, that's loony. That's loony. If he gets a hold of you and you're in his guard, you're gonna get your knee ripped apart. That guy's a knee ripper. I mean, they're all the Danaher Death Squad. That's what they call themselves. You know, John Danaher.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got like 100 knee rippers over there. He's just got super technical leg lock guys, and they're all doing it, you know, primarily off their back.